Hello, welcome to this tutorial. A bonus Dimba, and today we are going to learn another way of creating a tapered portal frame without using a macro for a tapered portal frame. Now, welcome once again, and let's get started right away. I've already placed here a column, a tapered column here, and I want just double click on it for you to see where is it categorized under a profile catalog in Tekla structures, and how you can access a similar and adjust the size and settings of a similar column and use it for your own project. Now I'll double click on it. Once I've got these column properties here, dialog box, I'll go straight under profile and click select. This will take me straight to a profile catalog. Yes, straight inside profile catalog. Here we are, and the profile is located under welded profiles. Let me just minimize that, and the moment this window opens for profile catalogs, just go straight to welded profiles here and scroll down to this member. Let me just go straight to it. Is a BWLDK. That is the profile I'm using here, and you can also adjust its settings here. H2, H1, HB, all these are adjustable. Let me just close this and go straight to the model itself. Now I'll switch back to my elevation view here. I'll come to K right there, and I want to now start creating my rafters. Now if you take a clear look, you can see some marks already here. I've marked the profile of my rafter here. Now I'll go straight away and start creating the plates for my rafters. I'll come to steel here. I'll come to plates right there and click on plates. Then go straight to that spot and come all the way to this end and snap right here. Come to the bottom end here and snap on that spot and target the top end of this column right here, and I'll snap right here. Go all the way to the next point, and I'll snap on the next point here. Snap on this point here, I'll snap right there. And now this time round we want to zoom it very close so that we don't snap outside the point. Now I'll bring it close and target that spot accurately and snap on it, and our polygon has been closed. And we go to the next one. We'll go to the next one. I'll come to plates here. I'll come to plates here. Once I've invoked a plate command, I'll come straight to this spot. I'll snap right here and go all the way to this end and snap at the top here. I'll target the bottom point here right there and go all the way to this end and snap on the initial point right there. The polygon has been closed and the plate has been created, and we start another one from this point and go to that point and go to the other end, to this end, and click on that and click at the bottom end here, snap right there and go all the way to the other end and snap right here to close our polygon right there. We've created our plates, and now we want to make sure that our plates are sitting right in the middle of this column. Now to do that, it's very simple. It's very simple. We can either do it manually. First of all, let's just check whether it is in the right position prior to adjusting its position. I'll click on that spot and press Ctrl and turn that around like that. It is not in the right position. Now I'll come to edit. I'll come here on point and click on online points. Then I want to locate my midpoint using these 2 points. these 2 points. Perfect. This is the middle point, and our plates must be in the same point. We'll highlight everything. I'll press Ctrl and click on and deselect the grid and bring this close. Right click and come to move, and I'll snap at the middle point of these plates and bring it right there. Perfect. Now we are right on the track. Now I'll come to navigate and turn this round to check whether it sits right in the middle of this column. There it is. Never forget to save your work. Now we've saved that, and what we are going to create next is the plates. We want to create the plates, and prior to that we want to get some guiding points. We need some guiding points. We'll go to edit and come to points right here. We'll pick on at any position points, then we'll snap on this spot right here. We'll snap right there and snap at this point right there. I'll right click and click interrupt. Then I'll pick on that spot, right click and come to special copy linear, and taking into account the position or the direction of my XYZ axis, I want to offset this in this direction using the X axis. Now I'll come to the axis here and change that to 0 and go straight to X axis and give it an offset of 50 millimeter. Then I'll go straight and click copy. It has been copied in this direction by 50 millimeter. I'll right click and click interrupt just to get off that command. I'll come here and copy this point and hold it from that spot and take it the other end. Right click and interrupt. Now I want to copy these points right here. I'll right click and come to special copy once again, and I want to populate it in the in the Y axis, but in the opposite direction. Now the X axis will be changed to 0, and we change this. We'll feed a negative sign with a dimension prefixed to with a negative sign right there. But 50 is very small. We need close to 100 right there, and we'll go straight and click copy. I'll click OK right there. Perfect. We're in the right direction. Then we'll pick these 2 points again, this one and this one, and copy it in the opposite direction. Click on that and click here. We'll click it here. We'll place it right there. Then pick on it, pick on this, press Ctrl and pick on that point. Right click and come to special linear. Then on the Y axis we'll remove that negative sign and just go ahead and click copy. But this will not take into account this thickness. So what we'll do, we'll deactivate that and come here and right click and come to move, and we'll pick on this position right here and take it in that position. Let me just zoom close and we'll place it right there. Right click once again and come to special copy and linear, and we'll go straight away and remove this negative sign, and in the Y axis we'll click copy. Perfect, and remove that. Now we want to create a plate using these 4 points created. I'll come to steel and come to plates here and pick on that, and I want to start creating my plate from that spot and go all the way to that spot and come back to this spot and trail and track it back to my initial spot right there. I've created a plate. Right here we've created a plate. Now let me just turn this round. I'll double click on this plate and change this thickness to 16 millimeter, and I'll give it modification command and I'll bring it up slightly. I'll bring it front. Perfect. Apply and accept, and I'll come to this plate once again, and I want to copy it. I want to copy it linear on the z-axis. I'll just give it 16 millimeter up. Perfect. I'll give it OK right there. There it is. Now we've not checked the thickness of this plate up here, the plate for our rafter. If we turn this, we didn't check the thickness. The thickness is 10, which is okay. You can work with 10. Now I'll turn this round, and now we are going straight. And now I'll go straight and redraw this, so that we can do away with the points. So many points down there. I'll turn this round, and what I'm going to do, we want to now bring this plate on top of, bring this vertical plates on top of our cup plates here. Now what I'll do, I'll come to edit, I'll come to cut part. I want to cut this using these two plates. I want to cut it using that plate and cut it using this plate. I want to cut it using this plate so that I bring it on top here. I'll right click and redraw, just to refresh everything. Now I'll come all the way and come back to points here and pick on online points, and I want to locate a midpoint of this, of the thickness of this plate. I want to locate a midpoint right there. I'll click apply and accept. Now once I've done that, let me just add some plates just to make our work easier. I'll snap right there and snap right here, just to create some points. Right click and exit. Now I'll click on this point, right click and come to special copy again, and come to linear, and using the x-axis, I want to copy it in that direction, in the x-axis direction, with the 100 on that direction, 100 in that direction. Perfect. I'll click OK and accept that. It has copied right there, and I'll copy that. Snap on that, right click and come to copy. I want to copy this point by this point, the other end, and I'll hold it. I'll select it, then hold it from this point and take it all the way to the other end. Right click and exit. It has not copied. Yes, it is copied right there. And once you've done that, just select on the 2 points, right click and come to copy. I want to copy these 2 points down. I'll hold them from this point and go all the way to the bottom end here, bottom end of this plate, right here. At the bottom end here, I'll snap right there. It's not in the right position. I'll snap right there, right click and interrupt, which means we exit. Coming back to steel, I'm going straight to plate and click on plate, and I want to follow this profile, the profiles of these four points. I'll come to this point all the way up and come to that point also. Let me just snap on that spot and snap on the other end here. I'll snap on that spot and go all the way back to my initial point. A plate has been created, and I'll double click on that to check the thickness. 10 millimeter thickness will be okay. We'll change this to 10 millimeter, and we'll click modify, apply and accept that. We've created that, and we'll come to view, we'll come to navigate, and we'll turn this round and check how this is positioning itself with our plate located or designed for our rafter. Now, using these 2 points, we want to transfer these 2 points up. We'll pick on the 2 points here, pick on that point, right click and come to a copy, and I'll hold these points, the 2 points from the middle here, and go all the way to this top, to the top here, and I'll snap right at the center, right there. Right there. If you hear that bell, means something is just incorrect. Now I'll come back again and click and press Ctrl and pick on that, and I want to copy the 2 points at the bottom end here. I'll right click and come to copy, and prior to going down, I'm not able to see the bottom end properly. Now what I'll do, I'll press Ctrl to convert everything to transparent, so that I can be able to see the center point at the bottom end here, and I'll snap right there and right click and come to interrupt, meaning I exit that command. It has not copied, and we'll go back and select on everything here and pick it from the center right here, from the center right there, and we'll go all the way to the bottom end here and place the 2 points at the bottom end here. I'll right click and exit and check whether it has copied. It has copied, and then this will take us back to our previous render. Now I'll come back to steel, and our main target is plate. A plate is used so much here. Then I'll snap on that spot and snap right here and go all the way to the bottom end here and snap on this point and go to that point and go all the way to the initial point to close our polygon right here. And the plate has been created, and the first thing we want to check is the thickness of our plate. It is 10 millimeter thick. That's okay. Now it has gone all the way to this end, and we want to take it the other end. I'll double click on it, and we'll come straight to position and click this to and give it behind and try that, and that has accepted that command. Now if you hover your cursor on that spot, you can see it has gone the other way. Now we want to copy the same to this end. We'll come here, select that and pick on that and join with that. Perfect. It has been copied, and what we want to do, we want now to weld this to this, or we can go straight to edit and come to cut by part. We don't need to cut by part, and we don't need to copy this plate there. We'll just delete that, and we will define its own plate. We'll go straight to cut by part and click on this part, and we want to cut it using this plate here. I'll right click, and I will not redraw that because we still need those 4 points. Now I'll come all the way and click on this spot and press Ctrl and click on that, and right click and come to special copy, come to copy here, and I want to hold the 2 points from that middle point and go all the way to this end. I'll take it to this end. I'll bring it right here, and I'll snap right here and press Ctrl 2 and snap at the bottom end right here, at the bottom end right there. It has been copied, and I'll copy the same here. I'll copy the same here and go all the way to the bottom end and copy the same points right here. Perfect. I'll right click and exit and press Ctrl 4 to take me back to my rendered view. I'll come back to steel here and come to plates and pick on plates, and I want to create a plate right here. Snap right there, snap right here. We are creating a flange connection, and there's one thing we've not done correctly. I'll click back here and press Control and click on that. Press Control, I want to offset this up by 50. I'll right click and come to Special Copy and pick on Linear. I'll go to Z-axis. I'll go to Z-axis after changing the X-axis to 0, taking it back to 0. I want 100 right there, and I'll copy that up by 100. Now I'll delete these points here. I'll come back and press Control on that. Right click and come to Special Move or Special Copy, and I'll go straight to Linear, and I'll come to Z-axis here, and I'll feed negative 100 and go straight and click Move and click OK right there. Perfect. Now we'll do the same to the rest. We'll delete all this. Press Control, press Control, and we'll delete all that. We want to rectify these plates. We'll delete that. On that, we'll come later on to that. Now we'll come back to plates and right there, and we want to create a plate right here. We click on that, come all the way and click on that spot and that spot, and go all the way to this spot. Make sure you snap on the right position. And come here. Come here and pick all the 4 points. We'll pick the 4 points. We'll press Control 2, then we'll go straight and pick Copy and click Copy, and we want to pick them from this spot, from that midpoint, and go all the way to the other end. Go all the way to this end and copy it here. We'll copy it right there, and we'll copy another one right here. Copy another one right here. Perfect. Right click and exit. Now we'll come back here and come to plates after pressing Control 4 to take us back to our initial render view, and we want to create plates here. And close that, and we come back here also and create a plate. Create a plate right here, snap right there and snap right there, and come all the way to this end and to that end and all the way to that end. We've created a plate right there. Perfect. Now if I press Control and turn this round, or come to View here and navigate and rotate with mouse and press and rotate this is what we've created. And what I'll do, I'll pick this, right click and come to Special Copy, or just copy itself. I'll pick from that spot and place it right there, and do a similar thing the other end. Do a similar thing this end. I'll click on that, right click and come to Copy, and I want to copy this from the midpoint here and snap at the midpoint right there. Once that has been done, we are going now straight to redraw. Right click and redraw that, and come all the way here and come to edit right here, come to cut by part. We want to cut this using this part, and we want to cut this part using this part, which I think has been chopped off, and we want to cut this part using that part, and we want to cut that using that part, using this part. Perfect. We'll go all the way to this end also and do a similar thing, or we can just bring it forward. Just double click on that and bring it forward. Come to position and bring it front. Perfect, and apply and accept that instead of chopping it off. Now we are going straight to view, and we want to turn this round using that command, and press your left button in the mouse and turn that round perfectly like that. We'll come back here to points. Let me close that and come to points right here. I'll come to any position, and I want to use this size, this span, this dimension of this plate. I want to use it at the bottom end there, right? Bottom end right there, and I'll snap at the middle here. I'm checking some wrong choices here. Let me just snap at the middle point here. Right click and come to interrupt, and I want to pick these 2 points. These 2 points, I'll pick on that spot. Right click and come to move. I want to move them. I want to move the 2 points using this position, and I want to take it down here. Let me just bring it close to this end. Take it down right there. I'll click interrupt, and that's it. This is what I wanted to create. Now I'll come back here and pick on that spot. Right click and come to special copy. Come to copy, and I'll pick it from this spot once again, from that spot once again, and press Ctrl 2 and take it down also. Copy it down here. Take it down right there and go all the way to this end, and also copy it at the bottom end here. Copy it at the bottom end here, right there. And copy another one here. And go all the way and copy another one here. Copy another one right there. And copy another one right here. We'll go all the way to the bottom end, and we'll copy another one on top here, and another one on top there, and another one on top here, and we'll target the bottom end of this plate right here, and we'll snap, and we'll snap right here. We'll snap right there. Perfect. We've placed our guide, our guidelines, and there's one part remaining that we've not placed, the 4 points. We'll place a point here and place another point here. Perfect. Right click and go straight to our previous render by pressing Ctrl 4, and we want to use these points. Now I'll come back to steel here and come to plate and click on plate. I'll snap right here and snap on this spot and go all the way to the other end, and snap right here. Snap on this spot and go all the way to our initial point here. It'll snap right there. That has been created, and we want to create another one here. Snap on that spot and snap on that on the other end, and go all the way to this end, and we'll snap on that spot and come all the way to this end and snap right there and go to the previous point here. We'll snap right here to close our polygon right here and close our polygon right there. Our polygon has been closed, and we've created something similar to a beam. Of course, it is a beam after welding it. This is another profile. Now we'll snap right there and snap this point and go all the way to the other end. Go all the way to this end and snap right here. I'll come all the way and snap at this point and take a quick run to my initial spot and close this polygon to create a plate. We'll create a plate right there by closing that polygon, and do a similar thing at the bottom end here. We'll snap right there, and snap on that spot and go all the way to this spot here. I'll snap on this point and come all the way to this point. I'll snap on that spot, come all the way to this point to close down. to close my polygon. It has been closed, and we are remaining with just 2 plates to be created. We create that plate right there, and we'll go straight to this spot, and we'll snap right here. We'll snap right here and snap right here. Take another run back to our initial spot to close the polygon so that we create a plate. We will close that polygon, and our plate has been created. Let's create the last plate here. Snap there and snap on that spot, and take a quick run back to this end. But we need to turn this round so that we will be able to snap accurately at the bottom end here. Click exit to take you off that command, and you'll snap on that spot and snap on that spot and go all the way to this point. We've created our plate, and that's it. I'll press Ctrl and hold my milled button on the mouse, and you can be able to see what has been created. If I switch back to my elevation, you can see this. If I press Ctrl redraw, you can see what has been created here. This is what we've created just now. Perfect. Now we want to start reinforcing our rafter and a tapered column. We'll switch back to isometric view, and we'll click on that, right click and come to redraw. We redraw again. We redraw once again for everything to disappear. Now we want to start reinforcing our rafter. Take a look at the bottom end here. You can see some collision, and what can be done with this is very simple. We just come to edit here and pick cut by part, and we want to cut this part using this part. It has been trimmed up, it has been trimmed off, and also we'll weld this together. We'll come to weld, come to weld, and we'll use that method of welding, and we want to weld this to this. It should be welded. It has been welded, and we want to weld this to that, and this to this, this to that, this to that, that to that, welded. And also want to weld this plate to this member, and we want to weld that plate to that member, and this plate to that member, and this one to this, so that this becomes a welded beam that has been welded. This to this must be welded. Right click and interrupt just to take you off that command, and we'll close this. Prior to closing that, we want to make sure also these ones are welded. This is welded to this, and this is welded to this. This also welded to that. Perfect. That has been welded. Perfect. Right click and redraw. Everything is attached to each other. Now I'll come to view, I'll come to navigate and turn this round like this. Now I want to start reinforcing our rafter, and we'll start right at the bottom end here. Right at the bottom end here. Now I'll come to points here. Let me just click that eye so to bring everything back. I'll click on eye on edit. I'll come to points, any point right there, and I want to snap at the middle point right here and go all the way to that direction and snap right there. Perfect. I'll click these 2 points, press Control and click these 2 points, right click and come to a special copy linear and copy, and I want to copy these. I want to copy that downward by 150. I'll prefix this dimension with a negative sign. Click on that and prefix that with a negative sign, then click copy, right click and click interrupt. Now I want to create a plate here for our couplet, for reinforcing our couplet. Now I'll come to steel and come to plate right here. Everything we're doing plate, just plate welding the plates to come up with a column or a beam. There we are. Right click and double click on this and take it in the middle, take it to the middle point. Perfect. Apply and accept. Now what I'm going to do, I want to create a chamfer, but there's another way we can create a chamfer using Polygon. Cut, just snap on that spot and snap on the middle point here and come back to this spot and snap there and snap back to our initial spot. Right click and our chamfer has been created. I'll redraw that, and now I want to populate this going that way by 100, center to center, spacing of 100. Click on that, right click and come to special copy, pick linear, then check your XYZ axis. We want to populate this along the Y axis. We'll change the Z axis to 0, then we come to Y axis and we'll feed 100 right there. And how many do you want? We need just 3 of these. Come here and click copy. 3 of them has been copied. Then prefix it with a negative sign and copy another 3 on that end and click OK. Then we'll come to view and come to rotate. We'll rotate this. That has been created, and we want to create a similar thing at the bottom end here. We'll come to edit and come to points here and come to positions. I want to pick the midpoint of this plate and I'll snap at that spot and right click and click on these 2 points right here. I'll right click and come to special copy linear, and I'll come back straight to Z axis, and I want to copy that down by 150. I'll click copy. I'll click OK. It has copied in the right in the wrong direction. I'll redo that. I'll come to special copy, come to linear, and I'll prefix this 150 by negative sign and click copy, so that these 2 points are copied at the bottom end here. Then we'll go straight to steel, then access the plates command, then we'll click on this spot on these 4 points. Then we create a plate right here, sitting right at the middle point of the points. Now we want to chamfer this by using now a different command. We'll just use cut by polygon. We'll pick on this, then we'll snap at the middle here and snap at the middle here, then come at the edge here, right there at the edge, and snap right there. We've chamfered our plate. Right click and click redraw, We'll click on this and we want to populate this way by 100. Click on linear and check first of all the direction of your axis. We want to populate that in the axis direction. Now will force us to change the z-axis to 0. Then we'll go to x-axis and type 100. And how many do we want? We just need probably 2. 2 is okay. 2 is okay, and we'll go the other way and prefix that negative sign and give it 2. We need to rectify 2 of them to sit right in the position. Click on that and bring this close. To adjust an excess of that, click that and delete that, click on that and delete that. We don't need extra plates. Click on that and turn this round and check what you've actually done. We've created that and we want to copy this up and down. Now I'll come here and select all these plates. Press Ctrl and select all these plates. I'll select all these plates. After doing that, I'll change my XYZ plane position and I'll place it right here. Right there, right click and interrupt. I'll come back and right click and come to special copy and pick linear. And I want to use this midpoint, the center of these 2 plates as my mirror line. I'll snap right here and go all the way and click copy. I'll click OK, right click and click interrupt. The 2 has been copied up perfectly. Now what I'm going to do, I want to copy the same plates the other end. What I'll do now, I'll reposition my work plane tool to this end. I'll come all the way to work plane tool right here and place it at this position right here. Any position at this side, on this side. And now I'll go straight and select all the plates. I'll select all the plates right here and select all the plates. Pick that plate, select that, and select that. Now I'll right click and come to special copy and come to mirror, and I want to pick the midpoint of these 2 plates. I'll click on that, and that I'll use that as my mirror line and click copy and click OK. Now if I come back to navigate and rotate with the mouse and press my left button on the mouse, you can see everything has been copied to this end, and I'll right click and come back, right click on empty screen, right click and come to redraw to refresh everything. Now I'll take back my XYZ plane back to the the global position. I'll come back to view or work plane tool and just place it anywhere here. Right click and interrupt. Now I'll come back, I'll come to base plate, I'll come to applications and component and just type base plate here. We want to use a base plate for tapered column. Click on this box and scroll down. Just scroll down till we get to tapered column base. We'll click on that. Double click on it so that we access its window so that we can feed our preferred double click on it so that we can access its window, so that after accessing its window we can feed our preferred dimensions or settings. Now this window has stretched way beyond our reach at the end here. Now there's a special tool here that can help you access every part of any window stretching beyond your visibility. After accessing this, I have my base plate setting here. I'll just load it, and I'll move up and click modify. I'll apply that and give it an OK. Then I'll come back to plate here, to base plate here. I'll turn this round. Then click on the column at the bottom end here, and that will be created. The base plate has been created right there. Perfect. I'll right click and redraw that to remove any active sign of command, of macro. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I want to reinforce this. Place a plate here. I'll come to points. I'll come to points here and come to any 2 points. Then snap on that spot and snap wrong position. I'll undo that. I'll come back to points here and I'll snap right at the corner here. It's not locating it properly, but now I'll just delete that and come back to points right here and snap right there and snap right here. Perfect. Now I'll pick these 2 points by pressing Ctrl and I'll take them up. I'll press copy and pick that point, and I'll take it up here. I'll take it up here. Perfect. I'll come back to steel plate right there, and I want to create a plate right here. To create a plate, I'll snap right there and snap on this spot and go all the way to this point and snap right here. Perfect. I've created a plate and I want to copy this plate to the other end. To do that, with the assistance of workplane tool, just reposition your workplane tool just to work things easy so that you are confident of what you're doing. You'll not be guessing which position will that part land. Now I'll click on it, then right click and come to special copy, come to mirror. I want to use this plate as my mirror line. Click on that and I'll run all the way to the bottom end here and click copy. It has been copied perfectly well, and I'll turn this round and go back to the other end and see it has been placed. I'll take back my workplane tool back to its position right there. Right click and exit and come back here. I want also to place some gusset plates here. Just turn this round. Perfect. I'll come to edit. I'll come to at any position, then I'll click at the middle point here right there, right click and exit that and click interrupt, and I'll click on that spot, right click and interrupt. I want to first of all realign my XYZ axis with the slope of this rafter. Now I'll come to workplane tool and click on that and place my plane on this because I want to populate this in that direction. Now come back here and select on the point, right click and click copy. I'll click linear and check the direction of X. I want that to be copied by 150. Just a copy is enough. I'll click copy. Perfect. That has been copied, and I want to copy this up here. Click on that. Click on the 2. Click here and come to copy, and I want to copy it up here, right at the top here. Perfect. That has been copied, and I'll go straight to plate. I'll go straight to plate and click on plate, and I want to start doing that, creating a plate from that, creating a plate by following these 4 points. So the moment I close the polygon, a plate will be created. That and this. A template has been created right here, and I want to chamfer this. I'll go straight here. I'll go straight to edit and come to Polygon here, and I'll click on this spot, and I want to snap right at the middle point of this member and snap right here, and go all the way to this end and snap right there and close down my polygon to create or to chamfer or to create a chamfer right there. A chamfer has been created at the bottom end here, and we want to create another one. Right click and click redraw. I'll click on it, right click and click copy. Then I'll check the position of my axis. I'll change the x-axis to 0 and come to y, and I just need 100 on that spot, and click that, and 100 on the other end, negative, and click on that. Perfect. It has been copied. Now if I come to view and come to navigate and turn this round like that, you'll be able to see that has been reinforced perfectly. Now if we can mirror this the other end, we can do that if we change the work plane tool here to this position, then right click to get off that command, then press pick on this member, press Ctrl and select the rest. Right click and come to spatial copy, then we'll go to mirror. Then we want to use this midpoint as our mirror line. We'll go all the way to the bottom end here, just to locate any snap that will be in a straight line, that is a straight line, and we'll copy it right there perfectly well, and click OK. Right click and click interrupt, right click and redraw. Now it has gone deep inside, and this will be welded. Just type weld, just type weld here and come to weld here, and you want to weld this to this, want to weld that to that, or we can just do away with the one, with the two, and we do away with the weld first, then we trim this up. We'll come back to edit, come to edit right here, and click polygon, and you want to trim this off. We'll trim it from this spot and go all the way to that spot. We'll go all the way to this end here and trim it off. We'll trim it from that spot. Make sure you snap on the right position, and snap right here. Make sure you snap on the right position and right hit there. Go all the way to the other end, and it will snap here. We've chopped it off, the part that was protruding right into the other end. Now we'll close this and we'll delete that, then click on this, right click and come to spatial copy and click linear. Now which direction is that? We want to populate that in the, I mean on the z axis, depending on the position of our XYZ axis. We want just to populate it 100. How many do you want? Just want 2, and we'll click copy. But in the opposite direction, we'll undo that. We'll prefix this with a negative sign right there. Click that and click copy. Perfect. And right click once again and redraw. We've created gusset plates here. We've created gusset plates here. Perfect. Now we'll come at the bottom end here and create a similar. And this is now very simple thing to do if you can follow that route. And the next thing we are going to do is to place the bolts here. I'll come to bolts, and first of all, let's take back our workplane tool right there. Right click and click exit to get an exit route of that workplane command. I'll come back. We want to place the bolts here, and I'll go straight to steel so that we can access the bolt tool. Now we want to bolt this plate to this plate. I'll press I'll click on this plate and click on that plate also. Then I'll go straight and press my space bar and zoom close, and I want to snap on that spot. I want to create a bolt right in between the gusset plates. Now I'll double click on this bolt. Then I want to give my bolt a chamfer here. I want to chamfer that bolt. I want to give it a chamfer right there. Now we need to position this bolt right in the middle here. Now to position it, center to center of this is 50. Now what we'll do, we'll just feed 50 here and check whether it will go straight at the center. Now we want to push it right inside. We'll come at the plane here and feed 70. Yes, we want it to go inside by 70. Right there, it's 70 inside. Now what we'll do, just copy that bolt to other slots. Right click and click copy, and we'll pick it from the midpoint of this, from the midpoint of that gusset plate, and place it here, and place another one here, and place another one here, and place another one here. I'll go all the way and place another one here. That's enough. And what we'll do again, we'll copy other ones up here on this side. Now I'll close this. I'll come back to view and come to navigate and rotate with mouse and pick the part of the rotation point, and we want again to place bolts here. I'll come to steel and pick on the bolt, and I want to bolt this plate and this plate. I'll press my space bar, and I want a bolt between these 2 points. There it is. My bolt has been placed, and let me just check how it has been positioned. It has picked the previous settings as a default setting, but it's way better, though the bolt is close to that plate, but that will still work. Right click and come to copy, and I'll copy it from this midpoint to that midpoint, and that's enough. I'll come to navigate and I'll rotate this just to check how this has been bolted. Perfect. I can also take these 2 plates up. I can come back to plane here and change my XYZ position and pick on that gusset and pick on that gusset plate, and right click and come to special copy and go straight to mirror. And I want to use this middle point of these 2 plates as my mirror point or mirror line. Click on that and I'll click copy. Let's see how that comes out. Perfect. It has been copied, and I'll go straight here and check that it has been copied perfectly well. Now we want to copy our bolts the other end, and we'll use the position of our workplane tool at the moment and copy our bolts the other end. So now I'll select all the bolts here. I'll select all my bolts here. I'm going slow so that you can get the concept perfectly. I'll right click and come to special copy and come to mirror. I'll bring it close and pick the center of this plate as my mirror line and go straight right at the bottom end here and define my my mirror line and go straight and click copy and accept everything there, and come back to navigate and rotate that by picking a rotation point, and you can see our bolts are on this end. One thing we never did, there's one gusset plate that is off the position. We'll just pick one of this and hold it from this end, and copy it right here. Perfect. I'll right click once again and redraw, and we'll take back our work plane tool back to its position right here. Right, and that. Now if I turn this round, like that, you can see how this has been really reinforced or braced or perfectly well done. Now we want to weld all these plates to their main parts. I'll come to applications and components here, and I want to weld this plate to the beam. Now that is the wrong procedure. You pick the main part as the primary part, then the secondary part as this. Now I'll pick the beam as the primary part, then this. I want to weld all this to that. That bell means a weld has been created, and I want to weld also this one to this. Let me first of all remove these signs of active macros, the symbols of active macros. We want now to weld this to this, weld this to that, this plate. You want to weld this plate to that plate, this to that, so that when we generate the drawing, the assembly drawing is perfect. Everything isolates itself to its group, join itself to its group or to its assembly. Now we want to weld this to this plate also, this to that plate, that to that plate also, and this one will be welded to that, which is a wrong method. That to that, this to that. We'll turn to the other end and do a similar thing. Turn round and come back to weld here, and we want to weld these gusset plates to this plate. That to that, that to that. That has been welded, and also they will be welded also to this. Or welded to this also. Perfect, and this column will be welded to all this. Perfect. Let's continue with the welding and weld that to that. Perfect. And also this column must be welded to that plate, that cup plate. A welding has been created, and we'll really draw that to remove everything, and you can see that perfectly well and neatly done. Now we'll go up here and also try and create some gusset plates. Now I'll come back to edit and come straight to any position. I'll snap at the bottom end here. I'll snap here and go all the way to the bottom end here and snap at the middle point right there. and I'll change my XYZ plane here to take the alignment or the slope of this bottom end, and I'll now copy this to follow that profile. I click linear and I'll want to populate that. I'll change that to 0, and I want to come to x-axis and feed 150 right there, and just need a copy of this and click copy. Perfect. I'll click that. I'll come this end and do a similar thing. I'll change the position of my XY plane, and I'll click on that spot. And what I want to do, I want to come to edit here and come to points and pick on positions here, and I'll snap right here. Let me just first of all exit from that work plane tool, then come back to points right here. Then I'll snap at the middle point here, then go all the way to the bottom end right here and snap at the midpoint right there. Then I want to copy these 2 points along the profile, along the slope of this plane. I'll right click and come to spatial copy and click linear. Then using X plane, using X slope, I'll click copy. That's it. I'll click OK, right click and go to interrupt. Now I'll come back to steel and come back to plate, and I want to create a plate here by following these four points. Click on that and I'll snap on that and snap right here, snap right here. Perfect. We've created a plate, and we want to create another plate right here, there, and at the bottom end here. Go straight and snap on that spot and come back to our initial spot right here, and we've created our plate. Now we want to go back and create a chamfer or chamfer our plates. We'll come back to Polygon. I'll click on the part I want to chamfer, and I want to chamfer this using a Polygon tool. I'll snap on that edge and come all the way to this edge and snap right here. A snap, or the chamfer has been created. And also I want to chamfer this from that edge and that edge and come all the way to this point and come back to my initial point, and the chamfer has been created. As simple as that. Right click and redraw, and pick the two and right click and come to spatial copy and come back to linear, and we want to copy that and change this to 0 and copy that along the y-axis. That is 100, and we just need 1, and negative sign, and we just need 1 at this end. Right click and accept that. Now if you come back after clicking redraw, if you come back to view and rotate this using a mouse, you can see that in place. That has been created, and we can do the same thing up here. Now, having demonstrated how that is created, I think that should now be a very simple thing to do. Now I'll close this and switch back to my my elevation. I'll right click and I'll click on empty screen. Once again, right click and come to redraw to remove all these signs of active macro. Now if I press Alt, you'll see all these are welded together, but you can see this plate is still isolated, is not in that group, and this bottom end is highlighted, everything's selected. So if I just right click and come to create drawings, I can create assembly drawing from this column, of this column only. Now let me just include this plate to this assembly. I'll switch back to my isometric view right there and click on this plate and turn the other way, or press Ctrl 2 just to access it from this direction. I'll press Ctrl and access it right there. Right click and come to add to assembly. I'll include it in this assembly right here. Now if I press Ctrl 4 and to go back to my initial render, now if I press Alt and pick on this, you'll be able to see the inclusion of this plate into the assembly. Same to these gusset plates, they have not been included. Now I'll just select on them. Just select all of them. Select all of them. Press Ctrl, pick on that, and pick on that. Zoom out and pick on this plate, pick on that, and pick on this. Then right click and come to add to assembly. I'll add it to this assembly. Then if I press Alt and click on this, you'll be able to see they've been assembled together. Now the bolting is a very simple thing, or we can just do it so that you can have a look at it. I'll turn that round and I'll come to steel here and come to bolts. I want to bolt this plate to this plate, and I'll press my middle button on the mouse, and I want my bolt to appear in between in between the points I'm defining here. This point, it is there. It is appearing in that position because of our plane, how our plane is positioned. Now let's change our work plane tool. We'll come to view, we'll come to work plane tool, and we'll place our work plane tool right here, or right back to the global position right here. Perfect. And right click and come to redraw, and we'll take a route back to our bolt placement. We'll click on that and pick on this plate and pick on this plate, and press our middle button on the mouse, and you want to place a bolt in between the points we are defining here. Perfect. Now I'll double click on this plate. I'll zoom out. I'll double click on this plate and come to rotation here, and I want to rotate that bolt. I want to rotate it and give it a top. Perfect. I'll change that, bring that to 0. Perfect. And change this to 70 and see how it is changing itself. Note the right position, -70. Perfect, but not the best position. What will help us much is bringing our plane up here. We'll come back to view, come to plane, and place our plane tool right here. Right click and exit. We'll come back to steel and come to bolt, and we want to bolt this and this, and press our we want to bolt this plate and this plate, and press my middle button on the mouse and define the position where we want to place the bolt. We want to place the bolt between these points I'm defining, between these 2 points. We need a bolt in those points. Let me just click right there just to take a look. There we are. There it's our point. Our bolt, double click on it and bring it up by 50. Bring it up by 50. Perfect. And I'll close this. I'll click apply and accept that. Now I'll pick this point, pick that, right click and come to copy, and I'll pick it from this spot and take it all the way to this end and copy it right there. There we are. Now I've showed that, and this should not be now a difficult thing to do. You can go ahead and do a similar thing and finish up. And for me, I'll wind up this spot because we've taken a bit of time, because I'm going slow to enable you pick everything I'm doing here, so that you can try this by yourself and come up with a similar thing. Let me just take this work plane tool back to global position and switch back to my elevation view. Now I'll right click and select everything. I'll press Ctrl and deselect the grid. I'll right click and come to spatial copy linear, and I want to copy this. I want to copy this, so I want to mirror this all the way and use these points as my mirror line, and I go straight and click copy. There it is. It has been copied. I'll right click and go all the way to interrupt, just to exit from that command. Right click and click redraw right here. Click OK. That has been created. Now the rest of our gusset plates you can create by yourself, because I've showed you the steps and how to do it. Now let me just switch back to my isometric view. This is how it will look. Right click and redraw, and just select everything. Just select everything once again, and we want to deselect the grid here. We'll right click and come to spatial copy, and we'll go straight to linear and change all these to 0. Change that to 0, and we will first of all take a look on our XYZ axis position. The X is facing in this direction. Now we'll work with the X axis position or direction with 6 meters, and we'll prefix this dimension with a negative sign. How many do you want? We want just 10 of this, 10 of that, and click copy. We'll give you time to. There we are, it has been copied, and I'll right click and come to interrupt, click on empty screen to deselect our part that was highlighted. I'll right click and come to redraw right there, and get rid of these symbols of macros. Click on that, turn that round, and you can see what we've just created. Return that round, come to navigate and rotate this. Now this is our portal frame. We have our base plate right there. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and let's meet on the next presentation. To proceed slightly with this, just to show you how to do other parts of this kind of structure. Thanks a lot, and bye bye. Let's meet on the next presentation. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye. I'm Maurice Dimba.